Hey everybody, thanks a lot for coming back. This is Dave Jewell from Free Run Speed. We're going to talk today about the Ironman World Championships coming up in Kona, Hawaii in 2 months. Aside from this race being the World Championships, because there's pressure obviously because of that, the conditions of the race are very critical and very different than anything you'll ever race in. And we're going to talk a little bit about three things that we're going to talk about what causes a difference in that marathon coming off the bike than any other race that you do. The first is the heat. It is so hot in Kona on the run course that the heat has a major effect on your feet and your shoes. And I know this because one, I've done the race 3 times, and 2, I've been there the last 8 years doing my shoe analysis and watching everybody, for 8 years, watching everybody run by me. And so I can see what happens to shoes as you run by, and the heat is a major factor. We've measured it. It's 130 degrees on the surface of the road. And that's at 2 o'clock. Not even at 2 o'clock, that's at 1 o'clock. Imagine what it's like at 3 o'clock when it's super hot. So the heat on the surface of the road is a major factor. The second factor is water. You are going to dump water on your head. You're going to put ice down your shirt. You're going to put ice in your shorts. You are going to try to cool your body off as much as possible on the run. All that water goes down to your feet. Now, this isn't about holes in shoes. This is just about moisture, and your feet are going to be wet all the time. So just understand that. The third thing, and it's really unique to Kona, you're going to sit in the aero position much longer than you do in any other Ironman race. Sure, when you qualified, you probably felt like you were in the aero position all the time. But in Kona, if you sit up, and anybody that's raced there knows, if you sit up, especially coming home, you're going to catch wind, and the wind's going to hold you back. It's going to slow you down. This is a World Championships, so you're going to sit in the aero position for a really long time. Whether you're racing this or whether you are a legacy athlete, it's the World Championships. You're going to sit in the aero position for a long time, and that is going to affect how you run coming off the bike. You're going to be stiffer. Your legs are going to be a little bit more cramped. Your back is going to hurt. There's a lot of things that are going to happen coming off the bike in Kona. 2 more things that you should think about. 1, in Kona, be very realistic and confident, but be very realistic about how you're going to run in that race. If you've never run 3 hours and 30 minutes coming off the bike in an Ironman, you're not going to run 3 hours and 30 minutes in Kona. So be realistic, be very confident in what you're doing, but be really realistic with what your ability is on that day in those conditions. The second thing is time on your feet in Kona is different than time on your feet in New York City Marathon. So if you're going to run a 3 hour and 30 minute or a 4 hour marathon in Kona and a 4 hour marathon in New York City, it's dramatically different. New York City, it's 55 degrees, might be raining, but it's not going to be a tough day on your feet. In Kona, it's 3.5 to 4 hours in that heat on that pavement that's 130 degrees. So it's time on your feet. It's very different than any other marathon that you do. So today I'm going to talk to you about a few things that you should be aware of in terms of your selection for that race in Kona. In the next installment, I'll get a little bit more in detail about specific types of shoes and then further into specific brands and shoes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is size. If you like your shoes to fit close to the end of your foot, if you typically run in shoes that, let's use the thumb, okay? If you typically run with shoes with about a thumb's width, you're going to want to consider going up a half size from that. And the reason being, your foot's going to swell a dramatic amount, and as long as the shoe fits in the heel and in the midfoot, give your forefoot some space, because what's going to happen is the last hour of the run, your feet are going to be miserable if they're crammed into the front of the shoe. In my first marathon in Kona, I didn't do that. My feet paid for it. By the time I got to coming back on the Queen K, my feet were killing me because the shoes were too small because of swelling. So your feet are going to swell. Really pay attention to it. I suggest go up a half size no matter what, but you be the judge of it and make the right decision. Second thing is socks. Hey, we're runners. We don't replace socks as much as we replace shoes. I get that. For Kona, brand new socks. Brand new socks, straight out of the package. You've put them on maybe once just to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the seams or anything, but brand new socks. They need to fit close to your foot, any bunching, anything like that, and your feet are gonna pay. Specifically when they get wet. So brand new socks, fit close to your foot. And lastly, it's probably gonna put up more questions than anything, a little bit harder to understand, but the softer your running shoe is today, the worse it's gonna do in Kona. The really soft shoes on the market, I've seen countless number of runners in Kona falling off the platform step after step after step because their shoes got too soft on that very hot pavement. Every shoe is going to soften up on that pavement. You need to pay attention to how soft your shoe is today, and if it's really super soft, consider finding the exact same fit. Maybe it's in the same brand but in a firmer midsole. And I'll talk through midsole construction and types of brands in the next video. But understand, soft shoes are a disaster in Kona because of the heat. I hope this helps you out as you prepare for that big race. The conditions in Kona are completely different than anything else. You already know that. That's not new information to you. But it's real. If you want to have a good run there, you need to pay attention to what your feet are going to feel like. They're going to be wet, they're going to be hot, they're going to swell. So foot comfort is absolutely critical to you having a good run in Kona. Those suggestions, going up a half size, new socks, getting away from super soft midsoles. Those are all about comfort. Those are all about making sure that those things don't limit your run. Your foot being crammed up into a shoe is going to limit your run. A sock that is loose and bunching is going to ruin your run. A midsole that is too soft that you are falling off the platform is going to ruin your run. So that's why I'm talking about it. Thanks a lot for watching. If you've got comments, questions, if you've got experiences in Kona, leave comments. Everybody wants to know what your experience is. Now's the critical time. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great run.